bring the classroom into the community and let the community sow the seed of limitless opportunity. Growing up, and for as long as I can remember, education and entrepreneurship played a significant role in who and what I am. Growing up, after school, I would spend hours playing school and teacher to a class made up of my younger, reluctant sister, her Barbies, and her stuffed animals. But I knew then that when I grew up, I was going to be a teacher. But at the same time, there lurked an entrepreneur in that boy. And at age 7, I had my first startup, the Taylor Ranch Tattler, a weekly neighborhood newspaper. But it was at university that a pivotal moment occurred. Studying towards a degree in secondary education, I was taking an aerobics class as an elective. And after I casually mentioned to the instructor that I wasn't feeling pushed hard enough, she gave me the opportunity to teach the class. And it was that opportunity that launched me as an entrepreneur in the fitness industry. Now, education was an integral part of my company's fitness experience. It was the why of the business and the brand. And through setbacks and lots of failure and a lot of perseverance, my business partners and I gained a solid footing and eventually became a recognizable brand among fitness centers in San Francisco. And I even became an aerobic champion. And there it is. Spandex comes back to haunt me 25 years later. Now, in 2000, I began my career in education, but I had a clear takeaway from the previous 15 years in the fitness industry, and that is that education and entrepreneurship and innovation were clearly interconnected. And now, as our city, 17 years later, as our city is reinventing itself as an entrepreneurial hub, and disruption is happening at every level, I believe the time is right for my idea and for education to step into the disruptive spotlight. The thing about entrepreneurship and innovation is that at its most basic level, it's about pursuing opportunities and a willingness to take risk. The goal of the entrepreneurial innovation mindset is to create a community of positive influence. And in the same way, the goal of education is to create a positive learning environment to optimize success for your students. I want to bring our students into this innovation mindset environment, and I want every school to consider disrupting the traditional approach. And we can do this by forming partnerships with our startup community. And as part of our students' learning experience, we provide them with the tools, the resources, and networks so that they can go out and design and find solutions that have the potential to advance our community. Let's bring the classroom into the community and let the community sow the seed of limitless opportunity. Now, between 2010 and 2016, 42,221 people left New Mexico. It was the only state in the Southwest to have a net migration. But it wasn't only the job seekers. High school graduates were also leaving to pursue educational opportunities to qualify for those jobs. A 2015 report states that in New Mexico, 7 out of 10 babies born into the welfare system will depend on federal dollars for most of their lives and will most likely stay below the poverty line. The need for economic diversification to reverse this tide is real, but we can't do it alone. In my disruptive idea, students are working in real work and real work environment. They ideate solutions to real problems, and they use these authentic experiences to learn not only the hard skills, but just as important, the soft skills. Getting along with others, listening, engaging in small talk, and etiquette. You know, speaking of disruption, it's at the heart of today's most successful businesses. Airbnb is the largest hotel company in the world without owning any real estate. Their tagline embraces their disruptive business model. Find hundreds of experiences and local spots. Experiences such as staying at a home with a pet emu. And you can ask our next speaker, Melinda Ford, about that one. Etsy, whom one of its 4 founders, Jared Tarbell, is a New Mexico native, disrupted how we shop and sell using peer-to-peer e-commerce. And our beautiful venue, the Chemo, was conceived by an Italian immigrant entrepreneur and was the first theater to be built in the Pueblo Deco style, disrupting architectural norms, innovative for its time. I want us to do this. See, I believe that it's not too early for students to form partnerships with our businesses and our startup community, to engage these bright, inquisitive minds before it's too late. See, education in the US cannot seem to let go of the principles of the industrial age, the archaic model of a one-size-fits-all that has you teaching in silos, isolated, teaching single content that separates the thinkers from the tinkerers and the doers, the engineers from the designers and the artists. I saw another tagline for a car maker in a magazine. Either you drive disruption or you're outpaced by it. This epitomizes where education is in terms of disruption. Isn't it time for educators to make up our own tagline? I've started the movement at my school, and here are 3 things you can do to get started. Design thinking, startups, creativity, and innovation. So 1, design thinking. Learn about design thinking. It's the language of innovation. The mindset of design thinking centers on everyone being part of creating a more desirable future through meaningful solution. 2, go out and make a connection with a startup. Have them enlist your students to use design thinking to solve one of their challenges. Enlist and ask these bright startup minds to become mentors and coaches and advisors and teach your students about fail fast and learn fast. Creativity, innovation. Theodore Levitt said, creativity is thinking up new things, innovation is doing new things. So urge your students to be creative, to create because they love to, but urge them to be innovative, to innovate because it will give them a sense of purpose and their community will benefit from it. I'm not out to create a single track of entrepreneurs. My goal is for education, for you and for me, to become more active and influential in exposing the entrepreneurial innovation mindset to our students, to provide them with the opportunities that they need to define their journey, but also to succeed in today's world. So it's decision time. As educators, every one of your learners can experience the entrepreneurial innovation mindset to use for that journey, which should they decide to stay in our community after graduation, to implement it, to contribute to our economy, and to promote our identity as an innovative city. So I ask you to join me, bring the classroom into the community, and let the community sow the seed of limitless opportunity.